everyone, welcome to 10 Spiffy PowerPoint tips. Now, I've borrowed some of these over the years, but a lot of them are new and I've just stumbled upon them. So it'll be fun to share with you what you can do with PowerPoint in designing and teaching and also for creative learning for students. Stay tuned to the end. I'm going to pull up the EdTech models and apply what I showed you in the PowerPoint to the different levels of SAMR, TPAC, and PICRAT. So the first tip I want to show you is something I love called the design tool. So you see here all I have is wombats and a picture of a wombat, and if I go up here to design and I push design ideas, you will see that PowerPoint pulls up a lot of wonderful design ideas that I can choose from, and I can just pick any one that I like. And this has saved me so much time when I've had to do PowerPoints in a pinch, and they're beautifully done. They're not unbalanced, or some of them are odd, but on the whole they turn out really well. The next design feature is eyedropper. So many times I've wanted to match my titles to a color in a picture, and I usually do it in Pantone or a different application, but it has it built in. You can see they're creating designs for me here. I'm going to just log out of that. So an easy thing to do here, if I want to match the color to the font, is go to the font colors and then come down here to eyedropper, and then it just slurps up the color, and then you can see it just creates the exact same hex code. So I love that. The next thing is morph transition. This is just fun. I love transitions. I've been playing with them a lot lately. So to create a morph transition, you right click on the slide and you duplicate the slide. And then in that second slide, you press morph, and then you just grab the pictures and you move them around, and then you press morph again, and you see when it goes from this first slide to the second slide, it's going to create this transition. So, and if you're doing some kind of a sorting presentation or a situation where you need to show categories, it's a great tool. Removing background for design feature, and we're going to move into some teaching and learning in a minute, but I just want to show you some cool design stuff. Is really easy to do. Again, I usually do this in a different app, but I can do it right in PowerPoint now. So you select the picture, and then you go to Format, and you come over here to Remove Background. So then you see that the picture, the part that's going to be removed to make it transparent, is purple. The problem is that sometimes it chooses things you don't want to be removed. So then what you want to do is go Mark Areas to Keep, and then you can come over here and just kind of sloppily go over it actually, and then sometimes you have to just play with it. Let me just go back a little bit. Sometimes you can just circle it, but you don't want to get the other. So there, so it popped in really nicely. So then all you have to do is come up here and keep the changes, and you can see that it totally removed the background, and that was, again, several steps that I would do that with other images, and I don't have to do that here, so that's nice. Inserting audio is a fabulous way if you're going to use PowerPoint as a hyperdoc. If anyone doesn't know about hyperdocs, the works of Lisa Highfill, and I can't remember the girls' names, you should look it up. Using a PowerPoint as a hyperlinked document to teach kids, like you could create it could be all about kangaroos or Australia or any topic you want it to be, and you can create this great learning path for kids, and they can go through your PowerPoint, and you can have like a Notosaurus like I have here, and then I added an audio right here, and then you just play it, and I'll show you what that. I don't think you can hear the sound on that. Let's see if I can turn that up. Oh, here it is.
It is among the best armored dinosaur fossils ever found.
So then what I did is I just added some commentary about the Notosaurus that was actually found in the, I think it was in the Antarctic. So then to do that, all you do is go up to Insert, and insert audio. And you can grab audio off your PC, or you can record it directly. So then you just push this red button and you record whatever you want to say, and then you press it again, and then OK, and then your audio pops right in. And that is a pretty nifty tool. The 8th thing, or actually the 6th thing, that was my 8th slide. The 6th thing is inserting quizzes with forums. This is, I think, fairly new. With forums, they're separating out surveys and quizzes, and I discovered it by accident. So if I want to insert a quiz that I created earlier, again, if I wanted to use this as a hyper doc or a learning path for kids, then they could be going through learning stuff that I've taught them in here, and then I can insert a dinosaur quiz, and they could take it directly within PowerPoint. So it just fills in. I've already created it ahead of time in forums, and when I press on this link up here, it brings up all of my quizzes and stuff that I've already made, and then you can see here that I have a number of questions, and then they can just, it embeds right in, and then students can take the quiz and submit it, and it'd be right here within the PowerPoint. Okay, number 7, dictation. Another fun thing we discovered this year. If kids are struggling with writing, or if you have ELD students and you want them to do an assignment but you want them to dictate it, it's a really great tool. So you want to grab your text box, and then you just press dictate. Now is the time for all men to come to the aid of their country. So it's pretty accurate. I've tried it a few times and it keeps doing it. Okay, we're going to stop you. So then when you come back, something to note too is that you can actually dictate within the notes section too. So if you have an assignment up here and you want your students to dictate something into the notes, it could be collaborative or not, they can just dictate into the notes section if as a possibility to actually typing or writing or struggling with spelling. Okay, moving on. Number 8, ink equation. Love this for math. So you go to insert, and you're going to go to your math symbols, and you're going to go down to the bottom. A lot of the tools that I'm showing you are also available in Word, so you can actually do this there too. And this is really great for students who struggle with handwriting. If they have some kind of dysgraphia, then this is a nice tool. You can see as I'm writing, it is translating it to the top. So if I have a problem with something, I can actually select and circle it, and it gives me options. So if it misinterpreted my 3 as another number, it'll give me options to change that. I can erase, I can clear the whole thing, and then once I'm happy with what I see, and I'm not because this is a Y, so let's see if I can circle that and it will change, and it gives me an X. Nope, that didn't really work, did it? So then let's see, I'm going to erase that, and then I'm going to come back here, and there we go. Then I can just insert it and it pops right in. Speaking of math, creating polygons with shapes and changing them how you like it is also a really great thing. Just show you that real quick. So you can insert a shape. Say I want to insert a square, and say I want to edit this shape because I don't want to do common shapes. I want to create a different shape polygon. So I can edit the points on this. I can just move it like this or like this. And if I right click on the edge, you see how that target, it's a selector, but then it turns into a target, and I can right click, and then I can create a point. And I can create a point. And then I can go ahead and move it however I like, so that I can create fun shapes that are different than what the average shapes are. Okay, screen recording. This is also a really great tool. It's new, and the way you do it, it's a screencasting device built into PowerPoint. So essentially the last tab that you click on, it will record that one. So you want to make sure you're clicking on the tab that matches what you want to pop into your PowerPoint. So then you go to screen recording, you push insert, screen recording, and then all of a sudden this pops up to the tab that I was in. So I can select the area I would like to talk about, and then I would like to record. This is, oh wait, I got a timer. This is a TPAC model. It talks about how EdTech is being used in your classroom, and so on and so on. And then you can turn it off, and then the video pops into the screen, which is amazing. And you can resize it however you want. And then you can play, somebody's going through your PowerPoint, and they can do, see your screen recording or whatever. Great creation tool. Okay. Lastly, our add-ins. Add-ins are really fun. So if you come up here to insert, you can see that I have 3 add-ins already in Forms, GeoGebra, and Pixton Comics. And then if I want to add an add-in, it takes me to a little add-in store. And everything's free. There might be some additional purposes, but you can go to Education and you can see they have a number of really fun add-ins that you can put in. And one of my favorites is Pixton, which is a cartoon. So say you create a PowerPoint for your kids to go through, then you can actually create an avatar to go along with it. So let's skip the instructions. So you can pick your own an avatar with different coloring and poses and outfits and text, and they can actually have cartoon balloons, and that's fun. And then Pixton has a number of free and accessible cartoons already made. It's a graphics program. So for example, if I wanted to do a digital citizenship PowerPoint that my kids could do, then I can come to my Pixton account and links right directly to it, go to my comics, and you can see here I have some comics already selected on cyberbullying, and I can have all of them inserted, or I can insert one at a time, and I can create a fun comics lesson for kids to follow, and then follow up with a DOL or something like that. I just want to insert right here that using PowerPoint as a presentation tool is pretty much just substitution, right? It's just the lower levels of SAMR. And then if you're using it as a teaching tool, you're getting up into more interactives. But you can also use this PowerPoint tool as learning creation for your students. They can, instead of you giving them a lesson, you can task them with researching Australia, wombats, kangaroos, or whatever, and then they can create screencasts and dictations and quizzes and images and audio. They can create their own presentation and create their own knowledge building with PowerPoint, and that pushes the PowerPoint up into the creation sections of our teaching models. So let's just go over that real quick using the PowerPoint as an example. So for PickRat, we could use PowerPoint as a presentation tool. It can be passive, replaces, amplifies, and transforms. Or it can be passive, interactive, and creative. So it can be, in this area here, replacing and passive. Or if you're creating it as a learning path for your students, and they are actually using it to take quizzes and interact with on web quests and that kind of thing, then it could be more interactive. It would be more here. And then, of course, if you are having them use it as a creation tool themselves, where they're creating knowledge building and they're learning by actually teaching themselves, then it gets up here into the creative and transformative area. So that's a way PowerPoint can be used with that model. And with TPAC, it's a little more tricky because the content, this is a little more static to me as far as PowerPoint goes. The technology is a PowerPoint. The content is, whatever lesson you're doing. It could be in science or whatever content area. And then the pedagogical knowledge is how you're delivering it. And it doesn't really drill down in levels of creation, teaching, or just passive presentation model. So it's kind of more general. And then with SAMR, of course, using it as a presentation tool, coming up here using it as a teaching tool, and then bringing it up here as a creation tool for your students. Okay, well that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to do more teaching tool tips, and it's my favorite thing to do. If you have any suggestions, let me know, and any feedback is much appreciated. Thank you.